Hey there, everybody. My name is Mike.
I am Nick.
And we got...
Steph!
Steph!
Yeah!
We are here to do another edition of the Board Game Geek Top 10 versus 10.
Bah.
Where the three of us this time have combined our brain cases to come up with a top 10 list of cooperative games.
Yes.
Or games that at least have a co-op mode that we quite like.
Yes.
And we're going to pair that with the Board Game Geek, the list of the people, we'll call it.
Yes.
The top 10 cooperative games as they are ranked on Board Game Geek. We're going to see, do we have any overlap? Do we agree with their list? Do we even agree with our list?
Yeah, so these are the top 10 ranked games that are cooperative games on Board Game Geek. And so you can do that, by the way, by going by search. You can search by category or mechanic, and then search by ranking, and it'll give you the top 10 ranked games of any mechanic or category that's available on Board Game Geek, which is pretty cool.
Absolutely. And we have Steph here, like we said, so that means our lists are going to be way more legitimate now, because Steph, you've played a ton of games.
Indeed.
Yes, I played them all.
And so, like, you're going to be here you're going to need to bring us the knowledge now and, like, show us the way as we go through this.
I'm happy to help.
So, yeah. So Steph will be with us, and from now on out, and we are super, super pumped. This is the trio of
greatness. The Three Musketeers.
Can I be Steve Martin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Three Amigos.
Who's Martin Short? I'll be Martin Short.
Three Amigos is a little bit better, right?
Three Amigos is definitely better. Three Amigos is definitely more, I think, our vibe.
I'll be Chevy. You can be Martin Short.
All right, I'm down with that. So with that, the Three Amigos, I think, are ready. So I think we should get into the top 10 versus 10 co-op games. Get hyped. So the number 10 cooperative game, as ranked by you the users
people.
of Board Game Geek, is Mechs versus Minions.
Indeed.
All right. So what do you think about this game? We have this game.
So yeah, we have this game. It's a cooperative programming game where you are mechs and you have a big board. It's also scenario based.
Yep.
And you are essentially, each person has a
Little
board that they can essentially put movement and attacks and turns in a sequence, and then you play out that program. But it's a cooperative game, unlike something like Robo Rally, where you're trying to like bump into each other. This one, you're generally trying to like stay out of each other's way.
Or push each other and aid each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a campaign, so you're working through different levels, and so I think that's pretty cool. I've only made it to like level 3. I keep dying, so.
Same with us. We're really bad at this game.
It's just a lot of work to even
Set up the
playing
game.
Yes.
I know it lives on the top shelf. I'm like, I'm too short. I can't reach.
I can't even get to it.
Yeah, but it's a cool game. I mean, I definitely want to keep playing it. It's got the production out the wazoo because Riot Games got that, was the League of Legends money,
Got
right?
that money.
So they're just like, just put everything into it. It's fine, and it can still somehow be affordable.
Yeah. All right. So that is your top. That's not your top 10. Not the whole. That's it.
We're done.
List is
The whole
over.
list, it just keeps repeating.
I'm done with this list. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's your number 10. Let's move on to our number 10. Huh?
Let's do it.
Now, so all I know about this game are the amazingly cute, or like the little figures.
That's all you need to
That's
know.
all you need to know is that this next game is super, super cute, and it's actually kind of Mechs versus Minions
Well, it's
and
another
adjacent.
programming cooperative
And
game.
our top 10 is Quirky Circuits, which is actually a pretty darn new game, which is probably why it's as high on the list, or it's as low on the list as it is.
Yeah, we haven't
But
had
this
time.
also is a programming game, a cooperative programming game. And there's 4 different kinds of robots, and the robots all are doing certain things. One are cleaning up dust bunnies, one is like kind of pick up and deliver, one is like trying to dig up bones, and then one is a sushi chef. The problem is, when you're putting in the program, no one can talk to each other.
Right.
So you have to then try to just like,
And
kind of
it's-
like the mind, you have to just get into
Yeah.
each other's mind brains
Trying
and
to
being like,
read each other.
you're going to turn left, and then I'm going to go forward, and then
Right.
Mike's going to turn us around.
That never happens.
Yeah, well, because you
So-
get messed up because you might not have any cards that can do these things that Nick is picturing for me to do, and he can't communicate that anyway.
Yes.
And unlike Mechs vs. Minions, where we're each executing different programs, we are putting one program together.
It's a joint program.
Between everybody. So like that whole idea just makes it really
And
different.
everyone has to contribute at least one card to the program.
Right.
I mean, it is skyrocketing up the ranks for us, even despite the fact that it's very, very new. We have played it so much. And Steph, you have not played this one,
On the
right?
list. Gotta play it.
I think you're gonna dig the whole want to say something or like, I'm gonna go
We
this
talk
way.
completely
can't.
in beat boops. Beep boop, beep boop. And we
They're
talking
very
beep boops the entire time, and it
aggressively yelling beep boop. At
does
people.
not make it easier.
No,
If
it does
anything,
not
it
help.
makes it worse, and it's so much fun.
Right.
Yeah, and it's super cute.
That always
Yeah.
helps.
So that is our number 10, Quirky Circuits. I think let's move into number 9 with BGG. So number 9 from you, the folks of Board Game Geek, is Kingdom Death: Monster. The monster
As opposed-
Kickstarter to end all Kickstarters. The humongous game crusher, make all the money
We've
thing.
never played this
I've
one.
never played.
I've
Steph, have
never
you
played
this?
it. It looks like too much for me.
You don't have $1,200?
I know
That's
Alfie loves
spare.
it, so you know.
We looked at the Kickstarter and we were like, nah.
I get overwhelmed. Like you said, Steph, like it's just so
It's so
much.
much.
And
Yeah.
I just get like recoil back. Like I can't
even imagine the rule book. It's probably forever long, and I just like sleeping
Yeah.
by the end, right?
maybe we just need Ollie to do it for us. 'Cause-
Maybe he'll teach us at BGG Con or something.
There you go.
That
We'll
would be
all sit
fantastic.
down and he'll be like, let me teach you something, kids.
Sit.
And just, he'll give us a good talking to.
But anyway, that is your number 9. The 3 things I know about it. It's got kingdoms in it. It's got death, and it's got monsters. And Kingdom Death
You
Monster.
forgot the colon. It's got a colon.
Okay, it's got a colon in it. And that is number 9 from BGG. But let's get to our number 9. Back to Sensible Games.
Yes, so I get to choose this one, and I chose Pathfinder: Mummy's Mask. So I just recently got into Pathfinder, the adventure card game, you know, all of them, not the role playing
it,
game.
yes.
So it is the adventure card game. But I played through the entire Mummy's Masks, and I liked it. You know, I really enjoyed my time. So now I'm like working my way through the other ones. So I just got like the core set that came out in 2019.
So
That's
we don't know
awesome.
much about this game. So would you say you say you're not into role-playing games. So if you're not into role-playing games, this game is totally
Oh my
accessible
god, yeah.
still?
So you'll have familiar mechanics. You are working as a team to close these locations of bad guys and beat the villain each round. And every level you'll probably have an encounter of a villain, and if you defeat them, cool. You have like 30 turns to do it as a team. And at the end, whatever boons you've acquired, you can kind of work your deck. So next time you play, you'll have new cards, and so it's a deck builder continuous. It's a continuous deck builder for you, if you will.
I like that.
All
So
right.
over
I'm
the
down.
whole campaign, like that seems really cool to me. And I know I've done like a little teensy bit of Pathfinder like role playing way back when, and I quite enjoyed it. But I like that sometimes, you know, they've done all this work on building worlds and everything. So it's like, give me more stuff in that, but give it in a way that's maybe speaks
More
more
accessible.
our
Yeah.
language with
More
you know,
our
dice
jam.
and cards and things.
It's totally in your language, and you would be able to play this without. I'm not a role playing, and I have no desire to go role play either. So, and I still love it.
okay.
You know what I mean?
I love that.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
great.
that. Yeah, it's just it's like super nerd adjacent. You don't gotta
Yes!
go all the way.
Yes.
just close. You're gonna see the.
Well, we don't
line
associate
over
with those
to
nerds
truth.
over there in role-playing land.
But anyway, that's our number 9 is Pathfinder: Mummy's Masks.
Yes.
The Mummy's
Ooh,
Masks.
fancy.
Well, let's get in number 8 from Board Game Geek. So number 8 from Board Game Geek is Pandemic Legacy Season 2, the sequel. It's lower
Not
rated
season 1. That one's
than the
off
original.
list.
Like a lot of times in movies, the sequel is not as quite as highly ranked, but it's quite well loved. Still.
Yeah.
We'll still watch Iron
Die
Man 2.
Harder.
Die Harder is cool, but I'll just go to watch Die Hard.
Yeah.
But I've heard just like the littlest snippet about what season 2 deals with, and what I've heard, it sounds really cool.
Yeah, you're opening a bunch of surf shops, right?
Yeah, dude, because everything's just water now.
Yeah,
everything
everything's
got
water
blown
now,
up,
and so,
it's
season
just
2, you're just
running
opening a
surf
bunch of
shop.
surf shops.
Right,
Yeah,
and
it's a
that's a game I
very
can get
big
behind.
turn from. I don't think that's actually what you do.
No, yeah.
I don't know anyone that said.
But just want to hear it sort of like, it just feels very organically from the story. I just like that they told a big story with the first one, which we've been
We'll
in the
get
middle of
through
for
it.
like 2 years. So
my
it's sad,
goodness.
but like if we get through it, by the time we get to season 2, it's going to be so cheap. It's crazy. So that's the thing that's nice. But
Yes.
Steph, I'm curious, are you much of a legacy game type person? Because you were just talking about Pathfinder, so you're clearly into campaign games. Full legacy, is that something you're interested in
general, absolutely. I love that idea of being one and done. Like, finish that. Nice. What's next?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sweet.
there's something satisfying about and that's complete. Go away.
And it's also sad too. You get to the end of an awesome legacy game, and you're just like, oh,
Anyway, that is number 8 from Board Game Geek. Is Pandemic Legacy Season 2.
Well, our number 8 is a game called Zombicide Black Plague,
Oh,
or
yeah.
most of the Zombicides, but Zombicide Black Plague is our personal favorite.
It's the high watermark.
Yeah,
Of
it's
them
like-
all for us.
It fixed some stuff in the original Zombicide, and I like the fantasy theme better anyway. So Zombicide Black Plague is a big co-op, kind of not necessarily campaign, because it's not like it's a scenario game.
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of different scenarios you can play through, but it is kind of like what it sounds. There's a bunch of zombies coming through. You have a bunch of heroes, and you're essentially trying to take them out and do certain things. Sometimes you have to like
chucking
collect food,
dice.
or you have to go like open up this door and do stuff. And it's very, very fun. This is the game that the original Zombicide that got us to like. Pandemic was our gateway into the hobby,
Yeah.
but this is the one that really made us like really dive in. This
Right.
was like the big off the diving board into the deep end.
That
kind of
introduced
game.
us into the world of Kickstarter. I mean, it was
Yeah,
there was
it's
a
got
lot
all
of
bad,
firsts.
all bad. But we really like it to this day. It's incredibly fun. It's just kind of dice rolling. You got hordes and hordes of zombies. You can
Tons
level
of
your
stuff on a
people
map.
up. Yeah, it's just the big dudes on the map, zombies coming at you, killing them, trying to do scenarios. It's a big, long game, tons of minis.
You level up and
It's,
get cooler as you go. Like the more zombies you kill, you get like powers.
yeah, you
and
get stronger and
abilities.
stronger and
Yeah.
stronger, but then more and more of them start coming. And it's just, I mean, most people are aware of one of the Zombicides because there's like 60 of them now. But they're very, very good, and especially Black Plague, we really, really enjoy. Have you played this one, Steph, or are you kind of into these kinds of games?
Well, so if anything has zombie in the title, I'm not like, it's not my
Okay,
kind of
okay.
theme.
That's fair.
So I just, if it had like rainbows, I'd be all about it.
Rainbow
If you could
Side.
attack the zombies with rainbows and heal them,
It would
That'd be
probably
cool.
be a little
That'd be
more
cool.
enticed to play it.
that sounds super cool. Yeah, but this one it's funny because Zombicide holds a very special place, like Nick said, to help to get us in the hobby, but we have in general moved away from those types of games. But like once or twice a year, we like throw down and play some Zombicide, and it's really fun.
Like around Halloween.
Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
100%. Like I'm like, well, you get into zombies right now. It's kind of spooky.
Well, and that's the
out.
thing is like we just don't buy any new of these kinds of big
Right.
minis games, and so like the Zombicide is one of the ones that we've kind of just kept and keep coming back to, and that's
Yeah.
why it still shows up on our list because we just love it. We just love it.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
fun.
So that is our number 8. So let's go on to BGG's number 7.
Do it. So number 7 from Board Game Geek is Mansions of Madness Second Edition. And
Yes.
yeah, okay. So Steph, you've had a very strong
Yes.
reaction. So give me your thoughts. What do you like
Hit
about
us.
this game?
Hit us.
Honestly, this probably should have been on my list. But only picking 5 is hard, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
so what makes you dig on Mansions of Madness?
Mostly the app integration, which keeps it fresh every time because I played the first edition, which is good, but you need somebody to be the overlord
Mhm.
or
Right.
the one controlling the monsters and everything like that. With the app, that's all done in there. So basically you encounter and you say what you're doing, and you are trying to, every scenario is a little different, but you're unveiling this mansion, if you will, and you'll explore it and find different clues and destroy different Cthulhu type creatures, and you want to escape before they get you, basically.
Yeah.
Right on. Right on.
But every scenario is a little different. You might have a different like adventure or mission or different things that are happening, and so it's it's just fun.
So now the game for us, it's kind of, well, we never played Mansions of Madness Second Edition, but now we played Journeys of Middle Earth, and for us, we're like, cool, now we never need to play Mansions of Madness Second Edition, because...
right, because it's
So
just
have you
the-
played Journeys of Middle Earth?
Yeah, and if I could have one more pick on my this list that we're doing today, it would be Journeys,
Okay.
because it is amazing. I went out and bought the $40 mat for it. That's how crazy I am.
Wow,
that's nice.
wild.
For us, it was we'd always heard about Mansions of Madness, and especially the second edition, the app integration and the way that
Always
it,
wanted to play it.
Sounds super
Yeah.
cool, right? So then we heard like,
You should play it.
yeah, we really do need to. But then we heard like Journeys of Middle Earth is coming out, and like Nick said, with like I'd choose Zombicide Black Plague because it has a fantasy theme. Like we love Lord of the Rings, so we're like, it takes this
Yeah.
really cool system and makes it Lord of the Rings, where it's like instantly in. I'm like, yes,
We're
give me that
massive
right now.
Lord of the Rings fans, so I'm like, cool, like, I never need to play anything else again. This is
Exactly.
So we need to try Mansion Madness out of respect for paving the way for Journeys
for
into
the
Earth.
elders. Yes.
Yes, for the elder ones.
I've always heard great things about Mansion Madness. So
Absolutely.
good pick, everybody.
Good pick, all of
Yeah,
you folks
really
out
good.
there for rating it number
Proud
7.
of you.
I love that. Anyway, so let's get into our number 7 though.
Let's do it.
I got Codenames Duet. Now, most people have heard of Codenames, I would think.
What is that game?
At this point, everybody's played Codenames. Codenames Duet is cooperative, and I play mostly 2-player because you are one side versus another side, but you could do teams as well. And you have the same map that you're working with, and you're trying to clue them to get your words, and they're trying to clue you to get your words, but you have overlapping assassin and words, and you're trying to manage everything, and so it's so hard.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's incredibly
brutal.
difficult. Yes.
It's brutal because you only have,
So
I mean, in
hard.
like a standard game, I think it's like 9 clues, right? And that's total.
Yeah.
And the thing that's fun is there might be something that if I'm giving you, Steph, a clue and you guess this word, that's an assassin and we lose. But for you, that might be a word you need us to guess.
Yeah.
And so the psychological aspect of
Yep.
you're giving me a clue that points me to this word, but I'm fearful of it because it's an assassin for you, but it's safe for, I just like, it messes with you in more ways than just standard code names. Obviously, you can't play it with like 15 people like you could regular code names, but Codenames Duet is just...
I mean, I suppose you could, and you could
could.
all just fail together. And
Yeah.
be great.
I was just all bummed out. But anyway, that's our number 7 is Codenames Duet. If you haven't tried it and you like something like Codenames, give Codenames Duet a try.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Gotta do
just
So good.
wonderful. It's wonderful. Good pick, Steph. But I think let's get into number 6 from Board Game Geek. So number 6 from you, the people of Board Game Geek, is Mage Night, the board game, which is based on Mage Night and stuff. And this, I was kind of doing my research. I haven't played this. It just seems very old-timey to me, if I'm perfectly honest.
I don't think it's old timey. I mean, I played
Seems
it
ancient.
a while ago, but it wasn't. I mean, I actually played it in a competitive setting, so I can't speak to the cooperative
Right.
world.
So this
but
game, you can play different modes. You can play competitively, cooperatively.
I would probably prefer it cooperatively because it's a long game, so you
Yeah,
want to be
yeah.
talking nicely with people instead of I'm gonna go do this and get all your stuff.
It's hard to keep up that level of aggression for several hours.
Yeah.
Yes.
It kind of seems like, to a degree, I mean, a game that had paved way for things like Mansions of Madness and these types of games where you had these different tiles that will kind of populate and become this variable board. And then the cool thing is, like, as you're playing the game, your character levels up and gets stronger. So there's kind of like a deck building aspect to it, and you'll be able to, as you get stronger, draw more cards out. So it seems like a cool game. And I said old timey as a joke, but yeah, it's not brand. But the way
From the
board
ancient
games
times.
work,
I'll
is like,
tell you old time.
yeah, let me hear.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to play, just never really had the opportunity. I'm not going to learn myself. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do
I
it.
know myself well, and it ain't gonna happen. But that is number 6 from Board Game Geek, Mage Night.
All right, our number 6 is Legendary Marvel, a Marvel deck building game. There's a whole bunch of different kinds of Legendary now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
our favorite has always just been Legendary Marvel, which is the one they've supported the
I just
most
want to be
as well.
Wolverine.
Yeah. Or
all I
which
ever
version?
wanted.
The 7 that come in the game?
Play as all of them. It's
Um,
great.
It's a big co-op deck building. Well, I guess it's technically semi-co-op, but I don't know anyone who actually plays
Eh.
it that way. It's just straight up co-op. And essentially, you have a pool of heroes that you can buy from. One of the cool things I like about this game is it's not like you're Wolverine, I'm Captain America,
Yeah, right.
Steph, you're the Hulk. You know, it's not like we're each a different character. You can just buy character cards,
Yeah.
and you're just essentially everybody.
Sure.
And it's deck building. You have villains that are coming out in the city. You're trying to attack them. You're trying to recruit more cards, like a good deck builder does. And it's just, for us, it's by far our most played game ever.
Yeah.
Steph, have you played this one, or are you into like kind of co-op deck building and stuff?
I want to say I did play it, but I had a big long time in my life where I'm like, I hate co-ops.
Sure.
So it didn't leave an impression if I did. I'm pretty sure I played it, but I should probably revisit it after your highly praised words.
We love
but
it.
do I really want to with all that content? I don't know. It's a lot to get into, I suppose.
You know, if we were to come play with you, Steph, you could just name like 5 of your all-time favorite heroes. And the one thing I like about it is, like, in the comics, like the Avengers team up and the X-Men team up, and sometimes there's crossover, but here you can put together people that you would never think would be on the same team. And so that's what's fun is to kind of cherry pick your favorites, see how they work together, if they work together. So we like doing that with different people.
I want to be that Porky Pig Spider-Man.
I know.
I bet you that exists now. We should go get
Peter
that.
Porker's gotta be in it. Gotta be in it.
So anyway, that is our number 6 is Legendary, a Marvel deck building game that we've gotten a ton of mileage out of.
Yeah.
So with that, let's go into the top half of the top 10 with number 5 in BoardGameGeek. So number 5 from folks at BoardGameGeek, I always think this game's brand new. It's not really brand new anymore, is Arkham Horror, the card game.
It does feel
which
brand new
has
still,
just like taken off. People
It has.
love this game.
they do.
Yeah, Steph, have you played it, or are you into like the living card games? There's a bunch of versions now.
I'm scared, just like we just talked about, because there's so much content, and there will be so much more content.
It's not gonna stop.
I do want to play the base game just to see how it goes, because I have a feeling I will like it. So I'm hopeful.
From everything we've heard, it really is the best of these games. Like Nick and I are semi-deeply into collecting and playing The Lord of the Rings, the living card game. And from what we hear is the Arkham Horror kind of takes those things and like refines certain aspects of it, streamlines it. But we're kind of like in that thing of like, we've already invested a decent amount of money in The Lord of the Rings. I can't start that again. Like, we're just going to keep going down the track we're on.
And Lord of the Rings is a better...
Also,
well, see, and that's my
yes.
thing. That's my whole thing with this. It's like something like a living card game. You have to be invested in the theme because you're spending a lot of money, to be honest. Spending a lot of money, a lot of time, all this kind of stuff. And honestly, I do not care about Cthulhu. Like, I don't mind it as a theme. It doesn't bother me as a theme. No. But I Lovecraft has never been my thing. So the thing is, like, the Arkham Horror theme does nothing for me, whereas Lord of the Rings does. Like
you'll appreciate the fan service given to you by a
Lord
of the Rings card game.
Everything to me.
Absolutely.
So anyway, Arkham Horror is this game that people
love.
Again, people like it, and have played it, seem to really enjoy it. So I'm intrigued by it. I think we all are. But let's get into our number 5, a cooperative game.
I happened to pick Aeon's End Legacy.
Nice.
Have you guys been familiar with Aeon's End?
Yeah, we're starting to, and we actually have a plan to go through Aeon's End Legacy. A buddy of ours, we're trying to commit to doing more campaign stuff. We're going through Rise of Fenris because we're those people who are perpetually late to the party.
Yes.
With Scythe, and then Aeon's End Legacy is next.
That's gonna be next.
So give us, tease us a little bit so that we actually get our stuff together and play it soon.
I've never played Aeon's End, period.
Okay,
And then I got Aeon's End Legacy to try it out because I'm interested in the Legacy games, and I just fell in love with everything Aeon's End. So now I have all of it. I have every piece of content for Aeon's End. I've been nonstop.
Wow, that's wild.
I know. It totally converted me, that Aeon's End Legacy game.
That's so funny.
So I'm working my way through the monsters now from the base game. The base game's not so good because I played Legacy. It's so much better. But actually the newer games like New Age and...
there's a bunch now.
So good. And there's another campaign mode where you can put all your content together, and that's really, really cool because it makes the Legacy happen again, because you can combine all your content and create your own campaign modes, making it a little bit harder as you go. So I think that's really cool that they were able to come up with this new system to have it all in place. So it's if you guys like the cooperative deck builders, which I know you do.
We do.
Yeah, I think you'll be very excited for the Legacy.
Yeah, just cooperative deck builders are, they're just fun. I don't know. Because we're all powering up together, so I feel a camaraderie there or something. So I'm glad to hear that Aeon's End Legacy was it was such a home run for you. That's got me super excited to finally dive in for real and do it. So that's awesome. I can't wait. And Aeon's End Legacy is our collective number 5. So let's go into BoardGameGeek and their number 4. So number 4 from the people of BGG, all of you folks, is Seventh Continent.
Not to confuse with 6th or 8th Continent.
Nope.
Which those
just
games are garbage.
The 7th one. Only the 7th one. This is a game where you wash up on shore of some island or continent. You don't know where you are, how you got here. You always have fragments of memories.
Yeah, it's dreams going on, right?
Yeah, kind of like these dreams, and you're kind of disoriented, and the whole game is walking around, exploring the island, trying to figure out, you've been cursed and you're trying to figure out what is ailing you and how do you basically survive and rectify this curse. So this is a game that we've all played and may appear later on our list. I don't want to talk too much about it, but can we all agree right now that we quite like Seventh Continent?
Just a little bit.
We'll come back around.
I mean,
maybe.
we might come
we don't
back.
know.
We'll see
might
if we come
to it.
back.
Something might happen.
We'll see if it comes back.
I don't know.
But anyway, number 4 from Board Game Geek is Seventh Continent. So let's go ahead and get over to our number 4.
So our number 4 is Stop Thief, specifically the co-op mode. And so we've kind of talked about this a little bit, about like games that aren't technically co-ops, but they have later since then come out with a co-op version of the game in different ways. So I know, Steph, you really like Orleans Invasion, and we really like Orleans Invasion.
Yes.
But that's technically not how the game was supposed to be played when it first came out. That was an expansion. But to me, and I think the three of us, I'm kind of like, cool, let's just always play Invasion.
Yes.
This is kind of like that. So Stop Thief is a really, really great game where the competitive game is there's robbers running around the board robbing stuff from the museum and robbing it from this store.
Swinnertons.
Exactly. And so then everyone is trying to deduce where the robber is through sound clues. This is another game that's also app driven.
Yes.
And
in a very good way.
The app gives you sounds and it's tracking in the app where the thief is, and it'll give you sound clues so you hear like, and that means they're walking indoors. And you're like, oh, okay, so we know they're on an indoor space or a window space or something like that. The problem with a competitive game is like everyone's kind of doing the deducing together, but a lot of times it'll come down to where like we know the robber is on this space or this one. We're not sure which one, but there's a 50-50% chance. So if Mike then goes and tries this spot and it's wrong, then Steph knows that the killer is here. And so then you can kind of go get them because Mike chose wrong on a 50-50%
Someone else reaps the benefits of your hard work.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's like, and that doesn't happen all the time, but it's just kind of, it feels weird to all be kind of deducing together, but not be on the same team. So the co-op version is that now everyone's on the same team and there's a group of 7 robbers running around the board and you're trying to catch all 7 before they steal $50,000. If you do, you win. If you don't, you lose.
That game fosters really fun discussions. If you're saying, okay, so wait, it was indoor door, they went outside door, and what do you think? And you're like, no, I think it was this, and you can work together and talk through your logic out loud, and there's no like repercussions for doing so.
No, it sounds really interesting. I have not played it.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's
I would give it a
fun.
shot. Like, it's really fun to play co-op.
That is our number 4, Stop Thief, the co-op mode. And so, yeah, let's move on to number 3.
Let's do it. So number 3, Nick's very excited about because it's Spirit Island from Board Game Geek. Spirit Island is a game that we've played and quite like, and just didn't make our list for. I'll speak for us because we haven't played it enough. It's super hard, but in this game, it's sort of the reverse, the flip side to Settlers of Catan. The people have come and settled in the island, and the spirits of the island decide, I don't want you here. Go away.
It's a big finger waggle. That's a big
Don't want you to build the
right
city,
there.
thank you very much. And so you are the island and the spirits of the island fighting back, reclaiming your land. And it's just a super cool theme with these really fun kind of elements of deck building and powering up that is super hard. And Steph, have you played Spirit Island? What are your thoughts on it?
I have. It wasn't a favorite for me. It was just okay.
Okay, so I'm curious, like, what didn't sing for you?
It just, nothing really grabbed me, I'd guess. The experience was long. The teach was long. Everything was just long.
It is long.
If they could cut it down to like an hour, I'd be like all in, right? It's just, for me, it was a 3-hour experience with 4 players, one person who really knew the rules and taught us, and he was really on it. Like, he was a good rules teacher. And it should have been great. And everybody else who played it loved it. So I'm like, maybe I just missed something. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that's enough, right? If you're willing to try it again. It's one of those games that I've played like 3 times now. The first time we didn't go through a whole game because, like you said, it's long. Like we ran out of time. And I didn't know anything that was going on. And then we played it like a week later. And for the first like 2/3, I was just sort of like, I was playing with 2 other people who knew the game very well. I was like, I'm thinking maybe this, and they're like, yeah, I mean, that could work. Maybe you could try this. And then like 2/3 of the way through, I like saw the Matrix. I was like, I get it. I see why all these things matter. This card is important, and it started I couldn't. So it took a while.
Yeah.
If you think of both of those plays combined, it took a long while to get to that point.
Yeah.
And that's one problem with Spirit Island is I think
It's got
there's
a
a barrier
huge
to
learning
entry.
curve.
Yeah. But I definitely want to get good at it. I want to explore it. So there's something, at least for me, that's pulls me in.
Yeah.
Just maybe it's just the kind of story idea of like these spirits and the way that they are very asymmetrical and stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe that's why I'm not really all about asymmetrics. Like, I don't really like that.
Got it.
I don't particularly care for the theme. I mean, it seemed okay. I just,
Sure.
I don't know. So it just didn't grab me like it grabs everybody else. And maybe
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the middle. You know, I was like, I didn't dislike it, but I was like, that was good.
Sure.
That was
That's
it.
the thing I love about board games is you can have a board game that like clearly a lot of people out there enjoy for it to be so highly
least
ranked,
5.
and it can still for some people be like, no, not for me. And that's
Maybe
beautiful.
not.
I honestly love that when a game is super well liked and there's someone who's just like, it's not for me, but they like this thing over here. With us, it's very mixed bag.
Yeah.
But according to the
Yeah.
folks at BGG, pretty darn good, it
Highly
seems.
ranked.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to investigate further.
Yes,
But let's get into our number 3 in the meantime.
So this is a game that I played 250 times last year.
Wow.
You played Spirit Island 250 times last year?
How?
I played The Mind, but of course.
Okay.
It's great.
250 times, even though it's not the longest game in the world, that's a lot of plays.
It's a lot of fun.
Why so many?
You know what? It is not fast because
No.
if you do well, you are playing for 30 minutes. It's
Yes, you
not
are.
like everybody's like, it's so fast. Well, maybe if you lose really fast.
We lose in the first round every time.
Every
Yeah.
time.
Okay, so I don't know if you've heard of the dark mode. Have you heard of this?
No.
So if you win the regular game,
I've never done that.
you suddenly go into dark mode. And dark mode is where people play face down and then reveal at the end of the
What?
level.
So you don't
I
even.
know. It's so hard, okay?
Wait. So you're all putting them out the same way, but they're always face down? Oh,
Correct.
no way.
That is awesome.
Yes. And so I play this game mostly 2-player, but I've played with big groups of players. And so my best story is in the dark. We made it to level 11. We were 1 card short from winning the
What?
dark
How?
mode. I'm not. We're so in sync. You know, you just got to get in sync with somebody.
We play dark mode, but what we play is we play code mode, where
Okay.
Code mode's
it's
great.
very much like the mind, except for rather than not talking, you talk constantly. And you
Oh my God.
try to communicate what your cards are using very complicated vagaries. So one, for instance, we'll say one is just like, the topic will be like a trip to the grocery store. And like, if I'm not going to play a while, I'm like, dude, I haven't even found my keys to leave to go to the grocery store. They're like, oh, this dude's
gosh.
way far in the future.
It's
That's
essentially
so fun.
the vocal equivalent of being like,
Yeah, Nick's like, well, I'm at milk and eggs.
And
And
I'm
I'm
like-
like,
I'm
well, I'm
like-
at bread. So what does
like,
that
dude,
mean?
I'm at the cashier buying gum right now.
Do you have
Oh
coupons?
my goodness. I have to play this game with
Yeah,
you guys.
play code mode. Code mode's where it's
Code
at.
mode rules. It's a fun way to shake off, but because it gives you the same thing. Like the mind inevitably leads to giggles, leads to like stress. I at some point during that game full voice yell at somebody because of like your internal timing is not the same as my internal. Like this is how we count to 10 in my head, and if you're not on my pace, you're in trouble. If we get to dark mode and code mode, we're going to retire the game. We've
Burn
broken
the
it.
game
It's-
just to get rid of it.
Cannot be beat.
Burn
That's
it.
it. So anyway, that is our number 3. Let's get into number 2 from you, the folks at BoardGameGeek. So we've talked about Pandemic Legacy Season 2, but number 2 is Pandemic Legacy Season 1. You see what I did there?
Yep.
There's a lot of numbers going on. So the 2 is the 1, the 2 is the
very confusing.
8. Pandemic Legacy Season 1 is number 2. The number 2
And there's
ranks
12 months in a year. And
12
It's-
months.
God.
There's 500.
The Fibonacci
25,000.
sequence and just, oh gosh.
Too much. Pandemic Legacy Season 1. This game, I remember when it was happening,
Oh, I know.
like blew up. I mean, it busted that whole genre wide.
Yeah, because
open.
there's Risk Legacy beforehand,
Right.
But like, people love that game, and that was
Sure.
something. But this, like, I mean, I remember seeing it just skyrocket up the BGG rankings, and it was incredible
Fast.
to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, just Yeah.
You take an already well-liked co-op game, Pandemic, like
one of the biggest
very
games out there, yeah.
Right, very well known, and all of a sudden to do something where, as you said, Steph, you go through a year, you play 12 games minimum, and I guess you have a couple cracks at each month, but you're going through a year where all of a sudden, all these diseases and outbreaks and epidemics and things have like lasting ramifications.
Yep.
And how does the world, without spoiling too much, how does the world change over a year of just like horrible stuff happening, and you're just like trying your best to survive, to keep people alive, to power up your kind of people.
Yeah.
Your people are kind of just getting the psychological ramifications of this, world-ending pandemics and things going on. It just seemed cool, and this is when we.
It kind of paved the way for Legacy almost.
Oh, I would say so.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean,
for
I think
sure.
I think it helped open up people's eyes to like what
New
what
things. You
can
can rip
do.
up a card? That's all
Yes.
I know.
How dare you?
Like the whole thing is just like
That's all I know. I haven't played it.
Yeah, and then, like, at some point, in Legacy games, you're like, open up box number 3, and I'm like, what's in box number 3? Let me find it. It's like an advent calendar. You're
Yeah,
like,
it really is.
"Whoa, this new component that I didn't know. All of a sudden, the whole game is different. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so cool. I get why that game, did so well. We're like halfway through it, and I want to continue it because when we finally do, it seems like Legacy games for me I get overwhelmed thinking you have to play through so many games. It's like, well, just take your time and don't pressure yourself in any way. Like, make it be what it's going to be, because that discovery and stuff is so fun.
Yeah.
And then I guess at the end you get to
incredible.
frame your work if you did good enough.
Yeah. I mean, it was number one for a while. Another game
anymore.
is now number one, which may show up in a moment on BG's list.
Because there's another
Like
one on the
right
list.
now. Good
Anyone
segue.
want to guess what it is?
Yeah. Does anyone want to guess that there's going to be a number 1 to this list? Did anyone see that coming? Anyway, Pandemic Legacy Season 1 is number 2 now, still very highly ranked.
Now,
on
red box or
BoardGameGeek.
blue box? Steph, red box or blue box?
Blue.
I'm a red box kind of gal,
I'm
personally.
always red.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I thought everyone was gonna be on my side. Y'all are wrong. Blue is best. But anyway,
red box.
I'm a red player. That means we can play games.
That works. I'm usually yellow, he's usually blue, so it works
right.
out. That works out.
we're all happy. That's the point. And with that, let's get into our number 2.
Indeed. Our number 2 is actually base Pandemic.
Old
not
school.
Pandemic Legacy Season 1, not Season 2, not Fall of Rome, not right. There's a lot
To
of them
be
now, let's just
fair, when we
honest.
say Pandemic, we do mean Pandemic with On the Brink. But that's not a separate game. It's just an expansion for the game. But like, you gotta play.
but
On the
even
Brink.
then, like I've played a lot of just base Pandemic,
Yes, you have.
introducing it to people, and it's still up there. It's Pandemic. It's our gateway game. So that was the game that got us into the hobby, and it still to this day is just such a good co-op game, and I really think such a good way to get people into the hobby. I think co-op games in general tend to be a good way to get in the hobby. Kind of like what you said earlier. It's like, because if you're teaching a gateway game that's competitive, a lot of times people don't want to ask questions because they don't want to like give away their strategy, or they don't want to like, have some kind of disadvantage because of it. Whereas co-ops, everyone can just talk, everyone can just discuss, and I think it's really great. And Pandemic is just such a cool theme. The world is like just getting rampaged by diseases, and you're trying to save the world. It just has everything going for it.
Yeah, it's high stakes.
For a good gateway game. And to this day, even though we're deep in the hobby, obviously, but it's like, I still to this day, I'm like, it might be my Desert Island game.
Oh my goodness, that's big. That's big.
It's big words.
That's-
It's big words.
that's
But it's like,
stated.
it's possible.
Can't take it back now.
And so we still love it, and so, yeah, Pandemic, there's not much, we've talked about Pandemic the 3 times on this list, more or less.
You get
but
what it is. There's this diseases. You're trying to cure the diseases. You have people with some powers. It's all good.
Yeah, it's outstanding.
So anyway, that is our number 2. There's still one higher on our list, but Pandemic, the game that got us into games, is Pandemic.
Yeah.
So I think it's time to get into the number 1.
Let's do it.
We're gonna
It's
start
that
with the
time.
number 1 game, cooperative, ranked on BoardGameGeek.
What could it be?
So, I mean, it's this tiny
I don't know
little
what it's gonna
indie
be.
game no one's ever heard of. I think it's pronounced Gloomhaven?
Nah, it's Glamhoven.
Gloomhaven.
Yeah, it's,
Gloomhaven.
To nobody's surprise.
Yeah.
No one's surprised.
Shocker.
Well, because at the time, Pandemic Legacy Season 1 had kind of been at 1 for a bit.
Yeah.
And then similarly, where that one rose the ranks, Gloomhaven showed up and just kicked the doors down on its way to the number 1 spot. It wasn't stopping for nobody.
Yeah.
And so this is a big campaign game. I guess it's legacy. I mean, right?
I mean,
you don't
kinda.
tear stuff up necessarily, but like you are moving through this big
You are
story.
ripping up stuff.
I guess.
Well,
I
there's
don't know.
stickers, I think, right?
Yeah, stickers you're putting. There are permanent changes being made
I'll
to a
say
board.
I'll
and you're going
say
through
it's a
different
legacy game
stories.
personally. I
think
would say so.
It's a big campaign game at the very least, but it's cool because you have these different characters that you are playing as for a good long while. But then that character might retire, and then you might have access to new types of people.
Yeah.
So it's this just massive game. Like Nick and I don't know if you've played stuff. Nick and I are playing through Gloomhaven, and we're early on yet, and I can't fathom getting to retirement for my characters. They each have specific things that will make them go to
I don't know
retirement.
how I'll ever get there.
There's no way.
Yeah.
I'm never going to get there.
Yeah.
No.
It's like the fact that people have completed Gloomhaven is bonkers.
I played the first scenario and the second scenario, so I'm familiar with it and I enjoyed my time. I just don't know if I want to dedicate that time, like you're saying. It's just, it's a lot.
It is.
It's one of those things-
legitimately is a lot.
It's one of those things that I'm honestly glad to know that it's available digitally now because it's so big and there's so many things that we're going to be in that game forever.
Years.
I mean, like, just because we don't have the time to like play multiple sessions a week necessarily.
Well, so what's good is that there's been some talk from Isaac on Twitter recently that there's going to be an exclusive Gloomhaven title that's going to be like a quarter of Gloomhaven or something. And so
That's what I heard,
it's
yeah.
a lot more manageable. That sounds, I don't know much about it, but that sounds like something more my speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think for a lot of people, you might be totally interested in something, but it's just not very reasonable for you. So if they make something like that gets more people to try it, that's wonderful,
Yeah.
Because the systems and stuff in place in the game are really fun, and I think it's one that should be explored by folks, and maybe that'll be like a first step. They go through that, they like it, and that's either good enough for them, or they might then want to jump into the full Gloomhaven.
Yeah.
So I love that it seems like they are thinking of ways to make sure that it's accessible to as many people as possible, which is really cool.
true.
But we have a number one, and Steph's going to take it on home for us. So Steph, what do we got for number one?
We mentioned it a little bit earlier. It's Seventh Continent.
Yeah.
Boom! That's why everyone's
So
like,
good.
my
why
goodness.
they short us on the Seventh Continent talk? It's like, because we're going to get to it now. The three amigos did not forget. So Steph, why do you like Seventh Continent?
See, while I might not want to spend hours and hours and hours playing Gloomhaven, I do kind of want to spend hours and hours and hours playing Seventh
That's okay.
Continent.
Fair enough. So what for you, what sings so much about Seventh Continent?
I really like the exploration. Of course, you kind of have to, right? But it's managing your life deck because you're
Right.
working through and you're using your life to explore and hunt and do all those things. But you're like, I need to eat to get more cards back into my life because if you ever run out of cards, then you're in Doom area, and if you lose, it's just devastating. It's just
God, it hurts.
it's like painful hurts, and to have like that roller coaster in the game is just it. I've never really felt so emotionally attached to an experience before. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, what? I literally just spent all 12 hours of this day playing and now I'm dead? Oh my God, what am I doing?
Right.
It hurts.
And then you have to hold the whole thing of like, I need to remember everything we did so that we
Everything
can try
we
this
did.
again and do it right,
Now I have
Yeah.
a new character. Now I can work our way through it again.
And the cool thing that I really appreciate about the game is mechanically, it's incredibly simple.
Yeah.
Everything, like you said, it comes down to those cards, your life deck, and you have to draw things out to succeed at building this thing, fighting that thing, going over here, whatever it may be. You use these cards. It's always those cards.
Yeah, it's never different, no matter if you're climbing, if you're building, if
All
you're
of it.
fighting, if you're eating. None of it is
Yes.
different. You're always doing the exact same
And
thing.
the cool thing is that allows you to get emotionally attached because you realize that this is my life. I'm spending my time and my energy doing these things, and I just expended all this energy and just got attacked by bees. Why did I go over there? Or whatever it might be.
And you are building up your character. I mean, you have your items and you're using your items, so those
Yes.
tick down. And so that's also like the cards that you get from your life support is like, oh my God, I found my raft. Cool. Now I build it, and now I can go across the river here. Okay, good. I'm in good position. But you use your raft, and then it goes away. You're like, I need my raft back.
Yeah, we've had those moments where we think we've got this curse nailed. We're like, we know it. We know exactly where we need to go, and we go, and we're like, we were wrong. It's like, dang it, what happened? And then we're just back at square one.
And one thing to mention is on the Serious Pulp website, you can listen to these tracks that if you're in like section 1, you can listen to the section 1 track, and it really sometimes I just find myself listening to it because I like it so much.
That's cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
It really makes it, yeah. So you hear the footprints he's walking through, or you hear like water, wave crashing, or like jungle sound, like wherever you are. It's so good.
Go full atmospheric.
And that's a game that you will never run out of stuff because curses are hours and hours and hours long.
Hours and hours. No joke. I think.
And it's not a game you can play every night.
Unless you just leave it set up.
Yeah,
exactly. That's the best. And if you can, that's ideal because it's bear
massive.
of setup and takedown if you have to pack it all the way. So if you
But
have a dedicated space.
Yeah, if you do pack it up, then you kind of get cards put back, so you might be able to go back and explore that spot where you already exhausted it before. So there's like that kind of
It just seems like there'll never be an end to the exploration.
Doesn't seem like it,
and it's possible that it will never end.
It's
very
possible.
likely, yeah. At the pace we're
Till
going,
they die. Yeah,
we got time. But anyway, that is going to conclude our list with Seventh Continent. I think our list was pretty good, guys.
I would say
pretty into
it.
It's better than the People's. Come at me.
Better than the People's.
No.
And something to note, guys, is that, we met over a co-op. We played Flatline
We
together.
met during a co-op.
Yeah, we were playing Flatline, which I think is just outside of our top 10s, like a game that I really quite enjoy.
It's pretty great.
It's
really
so
hard.
fantastic. We did horribly when we played it together, and it was probably Nick and I's fault.
Probably.
But it was just such a cool experience. And again, like that's what's really cool about cooperative games is you can get to know somebody because you're talking and you are compelled and encouraged to talk and learn. And so now here we are doing this, and that's how the world works, and it's crazy. So co-op games, even if we don't play a ton of them, which we don't, we play more competitive, co-op games are always going to have a spot in my heart for sure because they can just create really fun memories, things like the mind. It's hard to get those memories in any kind of game, and co-op seems to be driven toward having those big laugh moments, those big triumphant despair moments. It just makes big stories.
So that was our top 10 versus your top 10. Let us know down in the comments below what top 10 you want us to do next.
Yeah. We can tackle kind of any game mechanic and things like that. So
my vote is for Rolling Rights.
Oh, we just did our own top 10. I am okay with that.
Steph might have it. Okay, if you can come up with one with better than Rolling Rights, we're going to go with Steph's choice of Rolling Rights. Because I think that's a good list. I'm hot on Rolling Rights right now. I'm ready to go.
But again, you can go onto the browse area of BoardGameGeek. You can find different categories or different mechanics that you can search for, which is a great way to just search for games. And in there, you can, again, search them by rank. And that is how you can come up with your own top 10 in terms of on BGG. And so you can look through those lists and see like, oh, this would be interesting for them to talk about, and put it down in the comments below.
Absolutely. And as always, if you want to help affect the lists that are going to populate these future videos, you can go ahead and rank your games at BoardGameGeek.com. Like, you can help shape the top 10s that appear in the future. Not necessarily our top 10, but your top 10 of the people. So go ahead and do that. And also thank you to everyone for submitting amazing game pictures. I know Nick's a game photographer. Steph, you're an amazing game photographer. Woo-hoo. Steph, thank you so much for being here with us and making our list way more legitimate.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see you in the next one, hopefully doing Rolling Rice. But again, put your thoughts on what you want in the comments below and tell us what you think about our list.
Indeed.
And until next time, I've been Mike.
I'm Nick.
I'm Steph.
And we are out of here. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.